How's it going, everybody? It's Terrace Black again with the second episode of the Ruby Amethyst Masterclass series. Now, somebody in the last video, and thank you for the support on that already, but somebody on the last video had commented saying maybe I should show some games or lines or whatever it may be on Inktable, which is a nice free website you can use. And you can go on, Dreamborn, make your list. Let's say we just click on this Harlan Suite list up here. I'm kind of blocking it, but where it says menu, you can click down, go to export, and then Inktable, and then play on the Inktable, and it'll automatically pull up the website and load up the list for you. So this is a great resource for being able to honestly, and this is why I was a little bit hesitant to use Inktable to make any videos on, because it's you're going up against a AI or a computer, and the computer makes a lot of questionable plays or questionable trades. Um, so it's not really like the best example of like what you're going to face when you're actually at a tournament. But I do think that when a new set comes out, or you're new to a deck and you haven't played it before or anything like that, that it's not an unreasonable way to just get used to play lines and getting used to what order you should play cards, or you might actually get put in a couple situations that are a little bit tricky for you. um, so it is like a good way to get some learning experience, and also, kind of get more experience with mulligans, see how that turns out. And then one thing in the last video when I was going over mulligans is that, I kind of wanted to see, um, what the next couple draws would end up being potentially for some of the hands we mulliganed into, because even though our mulliganed hand might be, a little bit questionable, all it takes is the right drawer to really like bring it around and turn it into something very usable. So something like Inktable can definitely be a resource to use to find out that type of information. So this video is probably not going to be nearly as long, because I don't want to spend a ton of time on Inktable, because it's really not, like I said, a super reliable resource for getting like hardcore or just like realistic testing done. Um, right. And, something like Pixelborn Connect or whatever, where you're actually going to face other people, is a better way. But this is a very quick way to kind of just sit down, maybe discuss a couple lines, show a couple mulligan options against some matchups. And in this one, I'm really only probably going to go over two that I see here, two that I put down here. We're going to use like my red purple list and do like a mirror match, as well as go against DeCandio's Diggy Diggy Hole 10K winner list. Both of these lists are not going to be exactly what you're going to see out there, but they kind of give you an idea of how to play against these certain types of decks. And just to make it a little bit interesting, for every matchup, for every match that we do, I'm actually going to put us as going second. So I'm going to put us on the back foot immediately, just because since we're going up against a computer that makes questionable decisions sometimes, or just tries to go very like aggro on us, which might actually end up being difficult against the Diggy Hole list. I want to at least give us a little bit more challenge, or give myself a little bit more mental challenge, by just always putting us going second rather than doing it random and maybe we get to go first. Um, so we'll start out like that, and then if I feel like, okay, let me show you a little bit of going first, then we'll do that. So we're going to start off with going against the 10K list. And before I go further, let me not get too ahead of myself. If you want to, it would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to this channel, leave a comment down below, like, put the bell notification up, whatever it may be. I'm actually getting pretty close to finally being able to get some sort of monetization on these videos. It probably like will net me like no money, but to be able to reach that benchmark is really cool. And it would be my first time ever doing so on YouTube, so that'd be awesome if you guys watch these videos, kind of scrub through, give your genuine feedback, and then subscribe as well and like. And then if you want to share, share. And then also you can follow me, and the link will be down in the description to my Twitter, where I just kind of post little ranty things or post updates on what videos I'm working on next. But then also, since now I'm going to start getting into actually doing and providing coaching for people, one-on-one playing, where we can really sit down, open hand play, really discuss lines, really get into the nitty gritty on matchups. Since I'm going to be offering that, as of right now, the way that you could get those type of that service is by messaging me over on Twitter, and we can schedule and figure out um, when to go ahead and get you some help. You just sit down and do some teaching, and if there's certain matchups or certain information that I feel like I'm probably not the most qualified to give you, I will make sure to go out of my way and find whatever resource possible, whether it's an actual top level player for that deck or whatever resource it is, to be able to get that information for you. So that's something else that I'm offering and that you can do. So, follow the socials. Appreciate you guys for being here. And yeah, let's get into the matchup. So, have us as player one. Amber Steel is player two. And I'm going to let player two start first. So, let's get into it. I probably should turn this down a little bit. I don't have headphones on, so didn't know that there was going to be sound. So I'll turn it down a little bit. But okay, which cards to mulligan? Let's see. So this is actually a pretty solid start for us. I know a lot of people hate just throwing a 1-drop to a potential turn 1 Cindy and it just getting blown up. But it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. But we do have a turn 2. So in this case, I would just throw back. Would I even throw back anything here? Because I'm trying to think, right? So if we're looking at here, everything's inkable, which is always great. What would we do? Does this do full screen? Say less. Okay. So what I'm trying to think about here is because immediately my brain thinks about, okay, we'll throw back the Elsa because it's a little bit too late for that. But then it's also like maybe we just keep it because it's inkable. We're running 4 copies. And so maybe we just keep it for guaranteed ink on turn 1. We are going second, so we do get to draw a card that could potentially end up being our ink. And in that case scenario, since we have a lot of inkables and kind of lower, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 type of plays, that that because we're drawing immediately, we can kind of be a little bit more conservative, but sometimes because you can draw, you might want to be a little bit more aggressive on the mulligan. Here, I think part of me just kind of wants to be pretty conservative and see how it goes, because it's not necessarily, we're not in a position where we're trying to high roll with, like a Flynn Sisu line. We're gonna immediately be put in a position where we need to be defensive and kind of start getting rid of stuff that they're doing. So, and I think goat on 4 is good. Typically, you might keep a goat just to ink it on turn 1. We have the redundancy with the Flynn's, and maybe that's like something that we could throw back here. So we might just throw like a Flynn and see how it goes. And we get another Elsa, and that's fine. So let's see if they go. Okay, they go Daisy turn 1. Honestly, Daisy turn 1 in this matchup, whether you're going first or second, actually don't like that we drew one of these already. But we're gonna ink the redundant Elsa here, and we're gonna just go ahead and play our 1-drop. But this turn 1 is fine. If we had a broom here, we could set up throwing on turn 2, throwing our broom in just to deal 1 damage, bounce it back with the snake so that the snake can finish it off following up, because they're not going to have enough time to get to a Rapunzel to punish us for that 1 damage, so we can kind of set ourselves up there. But you do need to watch out for potentially they might end up be playing John Silver, and yeah, I got punished by that. But not everybody is running John Silver right now, so I think that's still a reasonable play that you could go for. But since uh, we have the Chernobog here, it can't just trade into the Cindy, the Daisy. Um, we're just gonna have to play into. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. And maybe like they just have no good. Yeah, we'll take that. Maybe they just have. There's no other 2-drop in their hand. Wow, we drew another one, but that's what I'm saying. Is like the computer played a dock on turn 2. That's either like the most desperate play possible, or it's got to be because I'm pretty sure the computer would play a 1-drop, but I don't know if they necessarily would just play a 1-drop on 2 just by itself. So maybe the computer just wants to play on curve, so it did a dock. But yeah, so anyways, here. So the interesting thing, though, is that we may not quest or bounce this back. So yeah, I think we do actually. Yeah, because the snake can't get hit by a Let the Storm Rage on and die anyways, and they're not going to have enough characters to be able to Raging Fire to get rid of the snake. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead quest, get our 1. Uh, I don't know how you. No. We're going to ink. Sorry, I'm not used to using this platform. We're already past the point of needing a 1-drop. These 3, 4, and 5 is kind of mapped out for us, so we'll go ahead and ink this. And we're getting 1 back in our hand anyways. We'll go ahead and play the snake. And we'll bounce this. And we'll pass. Yes, the Daisy gets to go to 4, but like we couldn't stop that anyways. Okay, interesting. Yeah, they're going super wide. Okay. So we get a Sisu. Yeah, we'll take it. Okay, and they're going to quest here. So we're going to do what we kind of already assumed we would do, which is we're going to go ahead and and I always just kind of like to do the actions that I already know are going to happen. So I already know I'm going to swing this snake into the dock, and I already know that I'm going to then bounce and play the fox into the Daisy Duck. So I'm just going to go ahead just to make things quicker, do this challenge. They smack each other. Let me up the. Oh, that is the fastest. Okay, we're going to ink. We're gonna ink the redundant Flynn because we could try to play into gaining the lore from the Flynn, but I like being able to curve out. Like if let's say on 4 instead of us playing the goat, if we wanted to, we could go Sisu, Chernobog. And so Chernobog's a little bit easier to kind of fill out a curve if you want to play something that's a little bit cheaper, just to get more bodies on the board. So that's why we're going to ink that redundant Flynn. Go ahead, play the fox, use its ability, bounce this back, and we're going to go ahead and take out good old little Daisy here. She did her job. She gave us 2 cards, gave them 4 lore, and now we do get punished here for a Let the Storm Rage on or play character Raging Fire, but we do have an Elsa, some other characters to go and kind of contest the Cinderella, and the Cinderella wouldn't be putting them to 6 lore. This mine is, but we'll be able to get rid of it soon enough. We just kind of want to stop any aggression that they have for now. So we'll pass. They play a Lawrence. That's pretty good. Does Cindy have something? She does. Okay. Cindy does have the song. So this is another interesting situation where so they keep giving us Flims. Trying to think what I want to set up. So if we know we're playing the Elsa on 5, maybe just having more bodies so that Sisu Chernobog play will end up being better, because then the Sisu could stay on board, right? The Sisu could probably eat the Cinderella. We can just go ahead and throw the 1-drop into the Lawrence once it quests, which lets the Elsa kind of clean up the Lawrence and not take any damage. So now we have a healthy 2/5 that can, swing into this, do whatever needs to be done. So I think we're just going to keep using good old Flynn as some ink here. We're going to play this Chernobog. We're going to play this Sisu. We're just trying to, like, board-wise stay here, because, yes, they could sing removal, do all sorts of stuff to get rid of these 2 characters, but that's asking them to do a lot more than if we just played the goat here on 4, and then they just blow up the goat, right? So we're just trying to ask them more questions of do you have it than we would if we just played one character this turn. So we'll pass. They go to 7. They do have that. They shoot the Sisu. Interesting. Okay, so they just have all of them. Got it. So Steel's doing Steel things, but I think it's still totally fine. Let's see. So we have the ability. We're gonna want to get rid of this Lawrence first. The Cinderella is super annoying, and I wish we still had the Sisu to be able to get rid of both of these. But we have to get rid of this Lawrence. And then after that, we're gonna focus on getting rid of this Mines to set up the B prep. So let's see. So I think it just has to end up being throw here. Go ahead, get that strength away. What are we inking here? It's interesting. So if we're leading to a turn 7 B prep, then on turn 8 we can go double goat. So I think all the Flynn's just start going to the Shadow Realm. Yeah. And we'll play the Elsa ability. We'll just do that, and then we'll challenge, take out here. And we'll pass. And essentially, we just got to hope they don't have a dock. They have no way to get rid of the Elsa. Okay, so they have a Lilo and a Calhoun. Got it. All right. Interesting. Okay. So we could get rid of the Cinderella. It's kind of a strange turn. And I don't like that we don't have anything to immediately get rid of this 7 Dwarf Mine, because that means they're going to go to 12, 13, 14, 15. They're going to go to 15 by the time we B prep. And then from there, we have to... Okay. So I'm going to want to keep this Elsa now that they have a Lilo. So because of that, we're just going to go ahead and challenge. We're going to take out this Cinderella. We're going to play the Snake. We're going to do this, because this might be able to help us position ourselves in a way where we might actually not have to play this B prep on 7. But if we do, then we have this, if they start spamming the Lilos, to kind of clean it up and kind of sit there and be able to just take out Lilos for the rest of the game. How advantageous is it for me to play a goat here? It might actually be the play, because that allows us to get rid of the mines next turn. Yeah, so I think we do that no matter what. Well, we don't get rid of this. So I think we have to get rid of a goat. Go ahead and play a goat. And we're doing this because then this guarantees that we take out the mine next turn. So we don't have to worry about it post B prep. And then from there we can, you know, B prep again or play Elsa, whatever we need to kind of try to coast things back here. But still looking a little dire for us. Didn't want to draw 2 of these. Would have been great if it was like another Fox or a Maui or anything like that. But it's all good, so we'll pass. They'll go to 12. Another Calhoun, that's fine. So we suspected that they're just going to quest out. Yep, go to the 15 like we said. Okay, yeah, I mean, just to do something, I guess. This is good. So, but then that means we potentially have to get rid of... Okay, so the mine is going to live. Okay, so we have some interesting choices here. We can either let the mine live and take out everything else on the board, and we would have an Elsa left. We have an Elsa remaining, but then the mine guarantees them to go to 16, potentially 17, depending on our draws, and then they also have characters that they're going to top deck. So I think because they're already at the 15 mark with a Lilo, we have to just clear everything. So, but something that I always like to say is give yourself time. Like when you're in these type of situations, look at your hand, give yourself the time to sit and just think like, is there a way for me to not play B prep? Whenever you're on turn 7, and sometimes like in this, like it ends up just kind of being a given that we're going to have to B prep. Like giving yourself just that little bit of time every turn 7 to just think, can I get away with not playing B prep? Like even if it means like in this case, if they didn't have the mine, right? We never play B prep. If they had one extra character on the board, then I still don't think we probably B prep. I think it would still just be leave that one character, get rid of all 3 of these. But because they have the location, it's forcing us to B prep because we can't afford to get rid of all these characters. We only have one character that only hits for 2, unfortunately. Now I'm trying to think, because maybe there's an interesting scenario where we do the clear, leave the mine, they go to 16. We let Elsa sing friends on the other side. So we're not inking anything, right? We wouldn't ink anything. We let Elsa sing friends on the other side and hopefully get something that allows us to get rid of the mine. And we're digging like 3 cards deep from that turn, draw for turn, draw 2 from friends. That is a potential line. And this would be interesting to speak with a couple friends of mine about in this type of scenario based off this hand, what the best thing to do. But we're gonna go with the B prep line, I think, just to be safe here. I wish we had a way to sing this with the goat and still be able to get rid of the mines, but we do not have that opportunity. Unless the Elsa was already on board. But And no. Okay, so we'll go for this. So we're going to go ahead, get rid of this, deal 7 damage to it. We're going to ink the Friends, as bad as it feels. And we're just going to go ahead and play the B prep. We'll gain our 1 lore, and we'll pass the turn. We'll see if they do the Lilo. They do, and they get a Lawrence. So that's pretty good for them. But we get this. No, because no matter what, we can't get rid of both this turn anyways, which is really unfortunate. But so I think we still... actually, we can get rid of both by B prepping, and then we just hope they don't get another Lawrence off the top. And we're kind of stuck on this because I don't want to be in a situation where we start playing characters and then we have to B prep all of our characters. So I think we just play the B prep. We know they're going to play the Lilo again, right? And that's what we have the Elsa for. And they pass the turn. So they didn't get anything they could play. Now we're in a good position. So we can go ahead play Elsa. We'll tap this, challenge, take out the Lilo. And then we're going to play the Snake. We're going to bounce back the Elsa because Elsa is broken. And we'll pass. There's no point inking here. Okay, so they also got another thing they couldn't play. Interesting. So in this case, we can start... We could do that. We're going to quest. We're going to go ahead and play. And we're just doing this to try to start catching up. So we gain the lore. Play this. Bounce the goat back. Gain the lore. Use the fox to challenge. And now we're at a point where this Lilo is practically useless. But maybe not. So we'll pass. They play the Lilo. They play a Happy. They pass. Yeah. Okay. So we're in a good spot now. Like this Happy, I actually don't mind staying on the board. So we're gonna play the Brew. We're gonna play the Goat. Shout out Jesse. Shout out Jesse. Justice for Jesse. We're gonna gain the 1 lore. And we're gonna banish the Broom. We're gonna draw a card. That's a good draw. They already used 2 Storm Rage-Ons. If that's all their turn is, doesn't matter. I think... Interesting. A part of me actually just kind of wants to use this Brawl now on the Lilo just to start getting some more lore in. So I think... Oh, but I have to ink the Snake. Would that be okay? I think so, because I think we'll be in a position where we can start racing them. Or do we just full clear here? That's another choice. I think it actually is full clear. I think we got to start dunking on them at this point. So we'll do that. We'll ink the Snake. We'll play the Brawl. And we're just going to shoot the Happy down. We're going to challenge. I don't want to put damage on this. So we'll use the Fox. Clear. And then we're going to quest with this, go to 8. We'll pass. Okay, cool. Yeah, so another situation where we can clear. So let's say we don't challenge the Lilo, or we challenge the Lilo with the Elsa and don't take care of the Piglet, because the Piglet still needs 2 other characters to quest for 3. And we go to 9, 10, 11. It's a little tricky. I don't think we're at a point where if they are able to get the 3 and go to 18 that we can actually race them. So I think we have to clear both. So we'll go ahead, use the Elsa. We'll tap down the Piglet. We will use the Elsa to take out the Piglet. We will then... we'll use the goat, because like if it dies, it gains us a lore anyways. So we'll slap the Lilo away, and then we'll quest for 2, go to 10. And now we're clawing back. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can put a 2-turn clock on them, and we'll pass. So they go Lilo, another happy, and then they pass. And we just, keep top decking like a god, essentially. So yeah, we'll just kind of just be in the motions now. So we'll let the Elsas kind of be our fighters, and we're just gonna keep being oppressive. This is why I run 4 Elsas. Do that. And this game is pretty much ours now. So quest, quest, quest. And we'll pass. Yeah, we're super good. So we'll just go ahead and play this, gain the lore. We'll just go ahead and play this, draw the 2 cards. And we have 2 good cards. It doesn't matter at this point. I think we just quest all out, right? Because they could go to 19. We'll still play safe, right? So we'll just put ourselves in a situation where we like super guarantee the win, rather than just quest all out and then somehow our opponent has a good job and we just lose. And we'll pass. And we have won. They gained their 2, but it doesn't matter. And we just quest with the goats, because actually first, just because I want to, we're going to slam dunk with the Lady Tremaine. And then we'll quest with the final goat for the W. Okay, and so they had a Raging Fire, but weren't able to get wide enough to use it, which is good for us. They had a Rapunzel, but they had nothing to ever use it on. Everything was pretty small, and then they drew a Piglet. So all good for us there. So I think that was actually a decent match to see for practices with going up against this, and that was like going on the draw. Granted, they didn't get the Cindy turn 1 into the Storm Rage on, the cracked opening. But in that situation, you just play characters down, 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 down. And yeah, I think that was a pretty good example of how you can kind of use patience and use time to sit and think about your different decisions on whether or not B prep is worth it or not. Because full and well, if that like mine was not there, I never play B prep. Doesn't matter if it's turn 7. Doesn't matter they got 3 characters on the board. And I think there are, and I do see it a lot, where people will just instinctively just kind of set up and play the B prep on 7. Even in scenarios like that, just because they go, oh, well, I have less characters. They have 3 characters. Let me just wipe the board and we'll kind of go from there. But that would have, if there was no mine there, there's not a chance in the world. I think I play B prep. I think I just use that because I have the snake to follow up to quest with the Elsa or sing the friends. Well, I wouldn't have the friends. Well, actually, I would if I didn't play the B prep that turn. So I would have had Elsa sing friends. The next turn, bounce her back with the snake, replay the Elsa, attack whatever just got played, or have the snake trade into it if it's something like a Smee, and then just go from there. And then I probably would have drawn some good stuff. It seemed like it was just going to be good stuff. We got some pretty good draws there. But in that situation, understanding board state, understanding what threshold you can allow your opponents to get to, especially in this matchup as Ruby Amethyst. Um, if they didn't have a Lilo, for instance, then I would have had a little bit more like leeway to allow the mine being there. Um, but because they had the Lilo, I knew that if they're at 15, they have a single Lilo. All it takes is for them to get one more Lilo, and now I'm in a super tough spot where not only do I have to deal with 4 lores worth of characters every single turn, but whatever they're going to drop after that, and they only need 5 to close out the game. So in that scenario, we just needed to put them on a Lilo loop and us be able to just deal with it as the turns go. And we had the Elsa and the snake to replay the Elsa and kind of start building a board up from there. So now we were able to claw back from there. So I think that was a pretty good example of how, especially on the draw, to go from there. And I think if you see a Daisy turn 1, you don't panic. It's okay. It might give them 2 lore, 4 lore, but a Daisy turn 1 is drastically better than a Cinderella turn 1. That's for sure. So that was real quick against the Amber Steel matchup, and then we'll do a mirror match real quick. And that'll be the end for this episode. And then I'll do another episode with 2 other matchups. And I'm not doing a full rounds here, simply because, like I said, we're facing against a computer. We don't know exactly what was in their hand, but like a turn 2 dock, I don't think you ever do that. Especially if they had a mine, I think you always just go turn 1. Like if your hand was that bad and you had a mines and DeCandio, if somehow you see this or somebody sends it to DeCandio, whatever it may be. And I did practice with the Amber Steel deck a lot, and I think it's a pretty enjoyable deck. And in my mind, if I had a bad hand like post mulligan like that, and I knew I had a mines because it seemed like it already had one, then on turn 2 instead of playing dock, I would have most definitely just played mines on turn 2, and now you're forcing your opponent to say, okay, well, by turn 2, turn 3, whatever it is, you now have to deal with both this Daisy and both this mines, because the dock only got them 1 lore, right? So the dock only got them 1 lore, and the Daisy and the mines would have guaranteed got them 1 lore, but the mines also would have guaranteed got them 2, maybe 3 lore, because I wasn't in a position where I could deal with and take out both the Daisy and the mines. So that's why I'm not really doing a full round against these computers, because there's more nuanced decisions that I think a legitimate player would have made there that would have forced me to have to make some more nuanced decisions. But a dock being played on 2 is like the least threatening thing to me ever in that situation. So we'll reset the decks here. We'll go here, player 1 and player 2, and mirror match, same thing. We're going to let player number 2, that being the computer, go first, and we'll see how this goes. So this is a pretty bad hand. I think I throw. We're just gonna throw back kind of like the big boys here. Since we're going second, we have to keep this brawl because if somehow the computer understands that the Flynn Sisu line is actually good, then we have to get rid of the Flynn. Because if we don't, we have no way to stop their Flynn from going off, and it's kind of rough. So there is an argument for keeping the fox or throwing it back. I think I'm just gonna play it safe and keep it, and hopefully we just get another 1 drop or a 2 drop, and go from there. So let's try it out. Okay, so we get the Flynn Sisu line. So they Inca Sisu, play Chernobog. That's totally fine. We're gonna ink the redundant brawl, granted, because I know this is a mirror match. We don't have genies we have to worry about. But if somehow you do know that the opponent is playing genies, then there is a case for instead throwing back the fox, right? Because if they go Flynn, Sisu, genie, then like it's gonna be pretty tough. But I'm just gonna ink one of the redundant brawls, and we're gonna play our 1 drop to oppose theirs. They'll pass. They play another 1 drop. Okay. They quest. Do they use the ability? They do. Okay. So I think that's also, and no other 1 drop. So I think that's also just a computer decision. And what I mean by that is that if I'm going first and for whatever reason my only turn 2 is to play another Chernobog, since and this is a great lesson in terms of understanding trades in this game, understanding what position you are in the game. So when you're going first and you're having a mirror match, purple mirror match, whatever it may be, you're going first, you play Chernobog, they play Broom or Chernobog, whatever it may be. On your turn 2 in that scenario, you, I think every single time, unless your hand, and maybe it is, right? Because they only played a 1 drop on turn 2. So if your hand is absolutely abysmal, then yes, you pop it, draw a card there because you need something. Like you need cards that can actually do something for you early. But if you have a good curve, like if you have a 2 drop that's not just a snake, if you have like a Flynn or a Cusco, whatever it is that you like to play, and then you have your turn 3, whatever, like you have cards in your hand that you can play, then every single time in that scenario, you quest with the Chernobog, you do not pop it, and you pretty much force your opponent, unless they're also super desperate. Um, but either way, if they are and they don't challenge back, then you're good. But you essentially force your opponent to have to challenge into your 1 drop, and that's fine, right? Like you got the 1 lore, they lost a body, didn't get the 1 lore, and sometimes like games can come down to that 1 lore. So that's an interesting like interaction that starts literally from turn 1 to turn 2 in these type of mirror matches. So yeah, if you're going first, and even if you play a Broom and they play a Chernobog, they both trade 1 for 1. On turn 2, you always just kind of quest, leave it there, and just ask them the question, oh, well, are you going to do the trade or are you going to quest, right? And if they quest, then cool. If they trade, then cool, right? So because it can just kind of go from there. Anyways, let's see. What are we doing turn 2? So this is an interesting inking decision. So I think because I'm already planning on going Flynn into Sisu, I'm going to get rid of this fox because I think setting up this library on 4 could easily be something that takes us from being behind because we're going second to being the aggressor and going first. I think that's, a library on 4 can be a really good way to do that. And then obviously drawing a ton of cards alongside the library being a backup can be super oppressive resource wise in this mirror match. So I think because of that, and I still want to play it safe with the brawl just in case they play a Flynn. But then again, if they play Flynn off curve, then they're really far behind. So maybe I don't mind getting rid of the brawl here. But we've already gotten rid of one. We'll stick to what I said originally just to see how it plays out. So we'll ink the fox. So we can't quest with this and ask them the same question because they have a fox, or they could have a fox and then be able to just, quest, go to 2, take out the broom for free. But I kind of want the broom to at least contest this Chernobog if they quest and don't blow it up. So I think we're just going to play the Flynn for now, and we're not going to banish it. Because if anything, on turn, we can lead it up. Unfortunately, it's not a Chernobog, but we can try to lead it up into possible library double draw. But if not, we're definitely going to pop it next turn once we play the Sisu, if we get to play the Sisu. And we'll just pass. Okay, so yeah, their hand must be like really bad. Or, like I said, it's a computer. So yeah, we'll just gain the 3 lore. We're pretty much cooking at this point. Well, at this point, because now we're just immediately the aggressor, we get rid of the brawl because they're going to be the ones that are going to have to brawl, and we'll play the Sisu. We're not going to pop this because, like I said, like if they go 1 drop, Fox, blow up this, I don't care. That's fine. And because they seem like they're so far behind, I'm just going to actually just quest with both. Because by questing with both, if you are playing against a player and they do have the 1 drop, into Fox line, and they guaranteed 100% go for the Flynn because they have way too many cards. The Flynn is going to trigger no matter what. They guaranteed go 1 drop Fox, kill Flynn. That's fine, because we're going to set up this library and go from there. And we could, use the Sisu, trade back, draw a card because we attached the Sisu to the library, whatever it may be. We now have this online, 1 billion cards to draw. They're going to be wasting time trying to get rid of this, and we can just kind of overtake them from there. So we'll pass. They ink a Flynn. They play the rabbit, which is fine. We'll go ahead, gain the 3 lore again. Interesting. Okay. So in this scenario, you could easily still go the draw a ton of cards line, which would be sing friends with Sisu, play library, attach Flynn to it, and then quest with Flynn. The reason why, yeah, because I mean we already have 2 activations from the Flynn. Whether or not we get a 3rd one, I don't think really matters. We're at 8 lore. We've done nothing. But by doing that, we're putting our opponent in a more decision tree. And the more decision lines you force your opponent to have, the more likely that they could just make the wrong one. So you know what? We'll go that route, right? So we're gonna sing, and we're gonna sing before we decide what to ink because we want to draw cards first. So we'll do this. Sing this, draw 2 cards. We're going to ink. We'll ink the fox because we're just trying to be aggressive. We will. Yeah, let's go super aggressive here. And this is one thing I love about the library is because it puts us in a position where we have the ability to do this. So we're going to quest with both, right? So we're going to quest all out. We're going to play the library. We're then going to move Flynn to the library because we expect that this is priority numero uno. It's already gained us 6 lore. So the rabbit is most definitely going in. So that's most, a guaranteed 1 card for us. And they have nothing else, not even a Maui that could come in and finish off this library. Sisu could trade into the Maui, keep the library going. And from there, we just guaranteed win at that point. Um, so this is what I'm saying, where we're offering and putting upon our opponent so many decision lines where they have to assess which one of these is worth getting rid of. Is this worth trying to get rid of? The only way you would do so would be crab goes to 5. Ink, play snake, bounce crab. It goes to 8. But then all they have is a snake and a rabbit on board. We get rid of the rabbit. We saying we just keep going haywire, and also the Flynn gets to trigger again in that case. Um, so they can't afford to ever go after library at this point. Um, if they kill the broom, then like okay, so like they could go smash, hit a fox, hit here, and then from there we're just setting up attaching something to the library, doing a trade, drawing a card, putting a character down, putting pressure, putting that character we just put down onto the library. We just overtake the game in I think every way here. So we pass. They ink a brawl. They play an Elsa. Elsa doesn't do much for him here. They take out the broom. They're probably going to throw Rabbit into there. It's fine with us. We will draw that card happily. We gain 1 lore. And yeah, essentially this game is ours at this point. So we're just going to start protecting the library and using that as an engine and forcing the B prep on 7. So we'll take out their rabbit so they can't bounce that around. We're going to play a brawl just because it's going to sit here. We're just going to get rid of the Elsa. We're going to ink our own Elsa because it's not really going to do too much. Sisu does like a clean 1-for-1 with essentially anything. So we're going to play this 1-drop. And we're just trying to be ink efficient here. Like use all of our ink efficiently. And we'll move the Chernobog to the library so it has assurance, which means if they do get rid of it, we at least guaranteed get a card off of it. Like I said, the Sisu is a 1-for-1. They can't brawl it. They can't Tremaine it at this point. Can't Medusa. It would have to be a Maui or a Fox, and both of those do a 1-for-1. So we're still ahead on board, and we'll pass. They play another Elsa. They get rid of the 1-drop, but we attached it, so we draw a card. Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, we get to slam dunk on them. So, interesting situation is the way they could get rid of this library is if they go Elsa into it, Maui into it. They would have 2 ink left. They could maybe play like a Flynn. So I think we're in a position where we want them to just like have to be prep. And even though this Sisu hasn't gained us any lore, I think that's fine. She's just been kind of sitting here as kind of like a tool for us. So we'll use her to sing some friends, get some stuff. We are going to ink. I think we actually inked the Elsa. The Elsa's just not really going to do anything for us. And yeah, we'll just play the Tremaine. And we'll pass. Because what this does is this forces, okay, so they go Tremaine, we get rid of. Actually feel like we get rid of our own Tremaine here. just because this trades essentially into anything at this point because they have so many cards. So we'll get rid of our Tremaine. And then that's their turn, right? So we go to 13. And yeah, we're just going to keep drawing a ton of cards. Okay. And now I'm trying to think, how can I force them to be prep as much as possible and not be able to deal with this library from this point. So everything in my mind costs one more. So we go, we'll move this to the library. We'll play another one. We'll move that to the library. We're going to ink the Flynn. We're going to play Chernobog. We're going to move this here. So once again, we're putting them in B prep or bust position because we have lethal on board now. And if they do B prep, there's no way for them to get rid of the library and B prep. So we just draw 3 cards anyways. And we just keep the beat down position going. And we'll pass. The good old quest and blow up. No, because it's a computer. And I guarantee you they have a B prep in hand. But they don't, so we just win. So quest. No need to pop it. Nope. And then we will just gonna play a Medusa, blow up the Tremaine, move the Medusa, and pass. And now they have to get rid of, like, we pretty much won. So, and watch, we're gonna look. They're doing too much. We win, and look, they had 2 B preps. They had a B prep the whole time. This is why I don't like playing. This is why I don't play against these robots, man. Because they drew into a B prep this turn, and then they also had a B prep. So, but let's say, right, like, your opponent was in that position anyways. We know they most likely have a B prep because they had so many cards. We force them multiple times into a B prep situation. We win the game. Like, you win that game no matter what. If I restart, does it make them go first? I think we'll do one more in this mirror match just because, like, they had a terrible start, and I kind of want, like, to see if maybe if they get a more normal start. But like I said, the computer does stupid stuff. So this is actually a terrible hand. So we throw back everything that's big and uninkable. I think the only uninkable you really keep is like a rabbit. And I don't even know if we can afford to keep any of these. Maybe because the hand's so bad and we're going second, the snake isn't too bad as, like, just something that can challenge early. Like, we can't really afford to go Flynn on 2. So we got to hope we get a 1-drop. I'll try that instead of going 7. Golly, our hand. Okay, but they got nothing too, so we're both. Do I even want to continue this game? Is this even worth having on this episode? God, this is so terrible. No. We're not doing this. We're gonna quit the menu. We'll do it. One more time. Hopefully both sides actually get something to do. So we do have a rabbit. We'll get rid of the Elsas. So we really need like a 1-drop and a 2-drop here. Technically, we have a 2-drop. But do I want to play that gamble again? Part of me wants to just do this. But it's probably this. I think if I'm not thinking about a computer, I'm thinking about a person, it might just be this. Just because our hand doesn't afford us the curve into the friends as much as I would love to do that. And it doesn't afford us really to like just keep a bounce. So like if there was no rabbit here, like if this was like another like big uninkable, then you know I ship that back, keep this, and try to find a 1. So we go 1, 2, 3. But since that's not the case, we'll keep the rabbit just so we have one, and in case they don't have one, and then we keep the brawl for Flynn Insurance. Okay. Once again, neither side get a 1-drop. That's crazy. Granted, this list only has 8 1-drops, but I like never had that issue. I think I missed playing a 1-drop like once, maybe twice the entire tournament. But that's all right. So we'll ink the redundant brawl, and we'll pass. And we'll see if they have the Flynn or not. They ink a Flynn to play a Flynn. Yeah, so that's not good for us. So if we can bring this back, actually, it might be interesting. So I'm going to get rid of this. So on 3, if they don't have a Sisu, we play a Sisu to block their Flynn. Then on 4, since we already have we have 2 rabbits, we play a rabbit. 5, we do something else. 6 or 5, we bounce the rabbit, do something else. But we have a lot of bouncing. We have like a ton of these, and we only have 2 of these. And they do have libraries in the list, so we can't do anything with this turn, so I think we ink it. And we got to pass, and they get the 3. All right. Time to prove that you can win, even when they get a Flynn off. Oh. Yeah, that's not good for us. So we can't afford to set the library up. We have to, so we'll go ahead and brawl the Flynn, and we'll pass. And we just kind of have to hope that, like, from this point on, it's pretty slow for them. Okay. We'll ink. So we know we're going to play this to contest theirs. Hopefully. I think we just have to ink a snake again. It feels weird, but I think we have to because we need this crab to potentially help us trade into something. Okay, so they sung Friends. Oh my god, they're popping off. Okay. Fair enough. So we have to do this. And I think we mirror them. So we'll go rabbit, draw a card. Ink this, because now we're just getting close to the B prep range. And we'll play this. Pass. So not looking good for us so far. I'm getting punished. Okay. Yeah, they're doing pretty good right now. So we'll sing, draw 2 cards. Interesting. It's a gamble, but it might be the gamble we have to make. So we'll ink an Elsa. What are we doing with this broom before I play this? One, two, three, four, five, six. So that means we're still 1 off. Feels really awkward, but we'll hit. We'll play the Tremaine. Get rid of that. Do we pop the broom? I think we do, actually. Yeah, because now we have this. And we pass, they go to 9, and we pray they don't have a B prep. Okay, they don't. They're still applying really good pressure, though. So we have to get rid of this. Like, we just have to. We have to get rid of this. As somebody that is a giant fan of the card, we have to get rid of it. So we'll do this. We'll draw a card. We'll have this challenge here. Get rid of it. We will well, I'm going to ink this because I know I'm not going to play it. We'll play this to go ahead and get rid of their rabbit so they can't do any bounce shenanigans with it, and we'll pass. So they sing. They Maui into the choice that makes no sense. No human would do that. But now they forced us to be prep, which is fine. So we now are in the B prep. I guarantee you this card right here, or one of these 2 cards, is a B prep, and they just didn't use it. Yeah, so we'll play what we know what we're going to play first. And we will ink the Sisu, and we're just going to go for start slamming rabbits. That's a big dick play. I can't be mad at that. So we'll play a rabbit, draw a card. Play a rabbit, draw a card. Do we think they'll be prep? Let's see. I don't think it mattered too much which 1 drop it was there. Get rid of the broom. Yeah. Okay. Weirdly enough, we may actually be able to come back. So, hate having to get rid of rabbits, but we're going to draw cards and get rid of a big threat. So, it's what we'll do. We will play this Medusa to get rid of the Tremaine. And we will ink this 1 drop, and we'll play the goat. Just start getting us somewhere on the board. Okay, now they play the one. They play the B prep. Okay. I kind of want to see what's in their hand, so we're gonna see what they have, and we're gonna do this line. We're also gonna just go ahead, draw 2 cards. We'll pass. We'll pass. I don't want to ink those. Okay, they B prep again. So now they're stuck B prepping. Now we get to build the engine. So now we get to cook. So we're going to play the rabbit. Draw a card. We're going to play this. We're gonna play. Now that we got a snake, I think we actually bounce the rabbit back with the snake. We just want to out-resource them. We're gonna move the snake here, and we'll pass. Okay, so they're probably gonna attack here. We'll go 1 for 1. Yeah, so we're gonna do what we know what we're gonna do. So we're gonna challenge there. We'll draw a card. Okay. We're gonna play the goat. We're gonna play this. We're gonna bounce the goat. We're going to play this. And we're gonna move both onto here. And by doing this, what we're doing is it's just continuing, like how you want to use the library is just continue to put them in a position where it's you get rid of the library or you get rid of my characters. And if they're smart and go for the library, because you kind of have to, or it gets out of hand, we now get to go probably sing. Maybe, yeah, because we have so much. We sing, go to 7, 8, 9, and we pretty much start catching up from there. So we'll pass. They play a rabbit. They pop it. They go there, kill the broom. We draw a card. Okay, so the library gets to stay. Okay. Yeah, so we want the library to continue to live. We have so much draw ourselves. This rabbit isn't too much of a threat now. So we'll play the Elsa. We'll tap this. We'll have this challenge this. We'll draw off the library. We will play this. We'll draw. We'll ink this. And we're going to do the same thing again. And pass. So they go goat. That's not good for us. They brawl the Elsa. We draw. Another goat. That might actually kill us. It's kind of like worst case scenario there. We need to be prep now. Okay, this is like stuck on the screen. Okay, it's gone. So guaranteed. Oh, geez. We played 1B prep. We have 20 cards left in the deck. They have 1 card. If we B prep here, they go to 17, 18. Now we're actually in a position where it's B prep or bust. But we have a lot of draws that we can do to get there. So we'll start off by doing the free ones first. So we'll sing. Okay, we go to 12, which leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 inks worth. So we'll play another one. There it is. We'll ink a Maui. We will no, we can't because we need to use this for these. So we know we're going to play this, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll decide. We'll draw our card. They gain 2 lore, go to 18. Do we think we can win this? And we got to pass. We have a billion options. Okay, but if they're only going to play one card per turn, we might have a chance here. Okay, that's a big card. That lets us slam dunk here on this, which is what I like, so we'll do that. We'll get rid of there. We can play this. We'll move this to this one. And we ink. Damn. I don't think we can afford to ink anything, actually. We'll pass. They go Tremaine. Blow up. We draw a card. They have nothing else. That's good for us. So we have to kill the Tremaine. That's an obvious. But it's like, what's the best way to do it? I think it's just we play Medusa. Go ahead, kill. We don't really need to draw more cards. So we'll play. We just gotta start catching up. This. Play this. Bounce this back. Do this. Ink the Maui. Play this. Force them to be prep again and pass. Yep. So they be prep. That's their whole turn. They go Sisu. And now we have Tremaine. So we'll play Tremaine. Gets rid of the Sisu. We play Goat. Gain a lore. We play Bounce. We bring that back. Gain a lore. We ink Elsa. We play this and say 1, 2, 3. Be prep again. Pass. Yeah, they don't have enough to goat bounce. So we win. We did it. Oh, what the hell, man. Okay. Yeah, play. That was sweaty. Okay, so they had a Maui, and then, wow, that was actually surprisingly sweaty. Nice. Well, okay. That was a game. That was a game. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys got some learning out of that. Maybe you saw some decisions that you might have made differently, or you saw some decisions that you're like, oh, well, actually didn't even think about it that way. But I think that was a great game that showed the leverage. I think both actually were good showings of the leverage um, for the library, and also being second. And we also saw that they had Flynn. They had the Flynn Sisu line and going first, and got the Flynn to go off once. I think that was a great showing of how you can come back, and there's ways that you can continue to play and not immediately scoop. Don't in your head think, "Oh, this is over. There's nothing I can do." There's always something you can do. Um, and it's just about, I need to get resources, I need options, and that was a great showing of how, by having more cards, even if you're in a very disadvantaged state, by simply having more options and giving yourself chances to have more options, you can bring it back, right? Like, yes, all it needed was a goat and a bounce. And they crazy enough like didn't have it. Like they had the rabbit and the rabbit probably gave them a fox and then they foxed the rabbit and drew the goat. But if it was like they had the goat and then they drew the fox, or whatever, we lose there, and that's fine. If we lose that way, we lose that way, but we put ourselves in a position where we force them to have that. So if they have it, then, like, me personally, if they had it in that scenario, I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, damn, that was a good game. But because they didn't have it and we kept forcing them in a position where it's like, all right, be prep again. All right, you got one B prep left. You gonna B prep again? And if they did, we still seal the game for ourselves because they know we have a goat, and we guaranteed go, up from the libraries being there. So yeah, I think all these games were actually a really good way of showing how you can leverage yourself and position yourself to either claw your way back to being in the lead or cementing and staying in the lead. Um, and yeah, and how cards like library can really leverage that, and why it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite card in the game. The card's busted. So, thank you guys for watching once again. Like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, whatever it may be. Share this video with your friends if they're getting into the game, and or they play Ruby Amethyst but they're having a hard time. This masterclass series that I'm continuing is going to be great resource for them with a ton of hours of content. This is like content that me coming in, when I was first playing, I would have loved to be able to have. My main resource was essentially sitting and watching like hour long, posted VODs from like oh my lord, I forgot his name. That's crazy. I was gonna say Wonderland, but it's not Wonderland. It's oh my lord. I'll put his I'll put his socials down in the link as well. I can't believe his name is escaping me, but I used to watch his VODs whenever Pixelborn was around and watch him play Ruby Amethyst and really like figured out a lot of lines. I'm like, oh wow, okay, yeah, that's a good way to play, or oh, I didn't even think about that line or think about this or that. And a good recent example like from last set was like it wasn't even like, because I've done it a couple times, but I never even thought about it as like a good consistent line to do against decks, which is the on turn 4 one drop into a Fox rush, until I saw players like Ed and stuff really going hard and like keeping that option in their hand. Um, and so now that's something that's downloaded into my brain. So there's these little things you can kind of pick up from players where you see that they really like kind of focus on, oh, this line I really want to feed into, or this line I really want to feed into. And these are all things that you can kind of download and put into your like toolbox. And Ruby Amethyst is all about adapting, all about kind of adjusting to the situation and using its consistency to be able to help you like and assist you on that adjustment. And by being able to watch more people that are good with Ruby Amethyst play Ruby Amethyst, it gives you more options, more skills, more tools to be able to be sitting in a tournament and being like, oh, I remember watching so and so do this play, so now I know, like, oh, I can try this out and go for it, and then hopefully it works out well for you. So yeah, I'll Jebass. That's what his name was. Okay, it's Jebass. I used to watch Jebass VODs all the time. I'm gonna put his channel in the link below, because I don't know if he really posts too much anymore. I know he likes to stream from time to time, but he's a cool dude. So yeah, so shout out to you guys for watching. Shout out to you guys for being here, and yeah, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter. All the links and everything down below. Both of the lists that were shown today, so DeCandio's as well as mine, will be down in the link below. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Peace out.